still here. We're waiting to get curling back into Camrose. So the season's going to look obviously very different, much as everything else in the world looks very different right now. Most significantly at the moment, we need to hear from you. We need to know whether or not you're going to come back, whether or not you want to come and support the curling club again this year. So we're going to do a short video for you here to show you some of the changes we're going to make to show you how committed we are to your health and safety this season. So one of the first changes that's going to get made this season is the requiring of a daily health screening by everybody who walks into the facility. We're still working on what the formatting of this screening is going to look like, but basically we need to know that you're not sick so that you're keeping everybody in the building safe. If you want to take a look down here, this space doesn't exactly scream physical distancing at the moment. Myself and the board of directors are working to change that. One of the big changes that we are going to make to the floor plan of the curling club before we open this season is to get rid of these theater seating, or to get rid of this theater seating so that we can make more room for everybody to stay physically distant when they're in the curling club. I'm sure this question's on everybody's mind. Do I have to wear a mask while I'm curling? The long and the short answer is, while you're actually doing your curling, no, but we would ask that you wear your mask when you're inside the Rose City Curling Club lobby or lounge, other than sitting at a table, as we're just a little bit limited on space. We're going to make some changes to the way the locker rooms look this year too, as well as putting in a designated traffic flow pattern. We're going to be removing the locker room doors so that there's fewer touch points. We aren't going to be having any lockers for sale this year. The locker rooms themselves will be open and available for use during the night, but all curling equipment will be brought in with you and taken out at the end of the evening. Okay. We're going to be removing the middle partition between the what used to be male and female locker rooms in order to increase the floor space in the curling rink and allow for more space for physical distancing. So the curling rink has two doors, we all know this, the one by our parking lot down at the far end and the one that comes through the Max McLean area, the Rotunda area. For this season, we'll be asking all of our membership to come through our door rather than through the Max McLean Arena so that we can keep track of our traffic and not have any traffic from the arena coming into the curling rink. In order to increase the floor space upstairs, the plan we have is to move some of these smaller tables down in place of the theater seats that are currently on the main level. We'll then spread out the larger tables to increase the amount of space between each table. In keeping with Alberta Health Services guidelines for food and beverage, the number of people per table will be kept at 6. As always, the Rose City Curling Club bar will remain self-serve with somebody behind the bar to pour your drinks for you. However, unlike previous years, we will ask that our curlers not congregate in front of the bar after their game. Instead, we will ask that all teams go directly to their tables and send up one representative from their team to collect all the drinks. In order to reduce more touch points, we've made the decision to remove our water coolers both from the ice surface and from upstairs. So we would be asking that all of our members bring their own pre-filled water bottles to curling this season. Sanitize, isn't that all we've heard this year? So the curling club has plenty of wall-installed hand sanitizers. We'll also be adding hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes to the ends of all the curling sheets out in the ice shell.
Okay.
Our washrooms here at the Rose City Curling Club are a blind corner nightmare, so we will be putting markers on the floor to remind you to stop and look or stop and ask when going in and or out of the washrooms to avoid crashing into anybody. We will be increasing our sanitizing practices on high touch points throughout the curling rink, including the washrooms. All of these sanitizing practices will be marked and recorded on logbooks that will be made public to everybody who comes into the curling rink. Here we are, and don't we all miss the curling ice? I missed it very much. I'm already back curling in Leduc in the doubles league on Tuesday nights. As much as I've loved being back on the curling ice, it does look very different. Leduc has done a fantastic job of making sure that I and everybody else in the curling rink feels safe at all times. That being said, I've gotten lots of fantastic ideas from Leduc about how to go about that here. So, if you are apprehensive about the curling season, talk to me. I know, I've been playing. I know what your fears are because they were my fears up until 4 weeks ago when I started curling. So, come and talk to me. Pre-register. Let us know that your intent is to come back this season. We miss you. Unlike prior years, our rental equipment will no longer be available to anybody who wants to use it. That being said, there will no longer be the fears associated with that about how many people have touched this before I have. We will be logging and tracking every single piece of rental equipment that leaves us, who it's going to, and when it's coming back in. It will then be sanitized by either an appropriate volunteer or a member of the Rose City Curling Club staff. So we've already seen this season's going to look a lot different than seasons before. One of the ways that it's going to look different is in the paperwork that you're required to sign before you're allowed to curl. So as well as the general waiver, there will also be a COVID-19 specific waiver and a declaration of compliance. We need everyone who comes into the curling rink this year to understand that they have a part in keeping everyone else safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. So this declaration and waiver will just let you know that you have agreed to follow all of our rules and regulations when inside the curling rink. Oh. If you haven't had a chance yet, take a look at our return to play document. I do realize it's long and there's a lot of information there, so imagine how much fun it was to write. This document provides you with a lot of information about the things that we are doing to prioritize your health and safety, and believe me, we care. This matters to us. So, while we are doing absolutely everything we possibly can do in keeping with Alberta Health Services safety standards and following Curling Alberta and Curling Canada guidelines, we can't guarantee your safety, but we're doing our very best. It meant something to me that I didn't get the chance to say goodbye to everybody at the curling club at the end of last season. Things ended so abruptly. So I am very much looking forward to saying hello to everybody again this year. If you have taken a look at the return to play document, if you have questions, if you're curious about the season, if you just want to know what's going on, please feel free to send me an email, give me a call, or come and see me. I'll be hosting in-person registration nights September 15th, September 16th, and September 17th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock in the evening. I'd love for you to come by, ask all your questions, and get registered up. Myself and the board of directors are in heated discussions right now about what this season looks like for the curling club. We need to hear from you in order to make an informed decision about what this season is going to look like. If we don't have a high enough return rate on our membership, we likely won't be able to open. We need to hear from you here in about the next week before we have our next board meeting so that we can make an informed decision.